Hello, everybody. I am so sorry that I could not be there in person today. I was expecting to be there in person, but then things happened. So I'm going to try to do this, what would have been something more interactive from the other side of the screen, but bear with me. My name is Alejandra. Many of you have met with me, others don't know me. I'm also new to John Jay and PRISM this semester, and my role is an academic advisor. So if you have not made an appointment with me, please make one. If you are in the Junior Scholars Program, and my role is to work with you in academic advising, but I also do these kind of workshops. And today's workshop is about resumes, right? You've probably heard this before, even when you were in high school, somebody may have asked for a resume and you'd be like, why do I need one? And why should I have one? And I don't have any experience, and what should I put in one? So a resume is very important, and you get asked for it all the time, even for internships, sometimes for volunteering experiences, even by a professor who might want to write you a letter of recommendation, or you're applying to a graduate school, they will ask for these kind of things. So even if you have not in your mind done work that could be in a resume, there's so many things that you can put in it. So I'm going to share my screen so we can go about this together. Now I know there are different majors here, and this is not meant to be for any particular major. Anybody can use this template. The ones that are online, I sent you something by email that apparently wasn't, you were not able to open it because it was set up as a template. And I have resent it in the chat, but if you don't see it because you're just coming in, let me know and I will resend it to you. And the ones that are there in person, my colleague Pat has copies for you so that we can do some of this work, even if it's just a little, while you are in there. So the idea also is once you start writing this resume, especially those of you who are thinking about internships soon, getting in a lab, or even getting to a summer program or working right after college, it's something that you should have been building or that you can keep building as you continue to gain experience. So let me just, I cannot see you, so if somebody in there in live of my colleagues, if you see some questions, please let me know because I cannot see. So I'm minimizing here to see if I can see everybody at the same time.
In the classroom have a handout? Okay, great.
Okay, great. So what is a resume? So pretty much is like a screenshot, right, of what you have done until this moment, this very moment that you are in this resume workshop. In what terms? In education, experience, your skills, languages that you speak, awards that you have received, and things like that. And normally a resume used to be one page. Now it's 1 or 2 pages is fine. Anything longer than that is like a more advanced resume, or they call it, it's also called a curriculum vitae, and it's something that you have maybe have heard before, called a CV. A resume, the word means summary. So it's like a shorter version, and you can have longer versions of this. But when people ask for a resume, they usually want to see something short. As I mentioned, who asked for one? People that you're looking to work for, or that you're looking to intern for, or be in their labs, or even you want to volunteer, you need a letter of recommendation. All kinds of people can ask you for this, even your professors. If you, like I mentioned, when you need a letter of recommendation, they might ask you for one. And the reason is to see what you have been doing so they can talk about you if they don't know you that well. So it shows your skills, your education, and in some cases, if you don't have any experience, you can also add things that you probably don't think that you could. So this is what you guys have, the ones in person and online. This is a template that I like to use this one, but you don't have to use anything specific. There are many templates in Word. There are free templates online. Even, so many software programs have templates, so you can use anything. I like the way this one is set up because it's very simple. to use, and I like the lines and I like how it separates it without giving you too much, because you may have seen resumes that have pictures, that have color, that have all kinds of things. And you can do that. You can have a creative resume. It doesn't mean that you have to have you don't have to stick to this template. But for the purpose of this workshop, we are going to work off of this one. So as you can see, what goes in the resume, well, your contact information is usually at the top, and you want to make that very visible, easy to see. Usually people want to see your LinkedIn. You don't have to have one, but a lot of people will look you up in LinkedIn. If you have one, great. If you don't have one, I will recommend that you consider having one, and make it professional, of course. And it's just simple. It's a way to find you. So if people are looking at what you're doing, they can look you up in LinkedIn and see, okay, this person, John Doe, is studying forensic science at John Jay, or they're doing computer science, and before that they did this. Oh, look, they have done this internship here. So it's an easy way for people to find you, and you may get asked, do you have a LinkedIn a lot of the times, but it's not necessary to have one. Do consider it. Your education, not all of your education will go in here, right? So for those of you who have just started college, you don't necessarily want to place your high school in there, unless that is something that you really feel that you should because of the type of school that you went, or some courses that you took in that school that might be beneficial to what you are applying to. But normally you just have John Jay here, New York. Expected graduation is when you're expected to graduate, approximately. And it's also important to have like your major and your GPA if you want to show it there. The rest of this, it's really up to you if you want to have your minor there. Some people like to have related courses. For example, let's say you're applying to a lab and it's in toxicology, and you have taken already some of the toxicology courses. The teacher might want to see, well, the professor might want to see, oh, have they taken this course? Is it, do I need to make sure that they have taken this course so they understand what I'm doing here? Same for the internships sometimes. So you may have the possibility here of adding some courses, like saying, you can say something like related courses or current courses, or things that you think are important for that person to know that you're taking or have taken. Some people may ask also for your transcripts, so you can also do that. In this example, we're just taking this example. This person is in California, right? So they're adding their community college. For those of you who have transferred from other colleges, feel free to put them in there if you think it's important. Also, because this resume, you can use it for anything, right? So you can use it for applying to internships and jobs, but you can also use it to apply to grad school, for example, or to apply to programs. And those programs will want to know where you have been. So you can always add those colleges there. In many of your transcripts, I've seen how you have brought in credits, and this is not like a necessary thing at all, but I have seen that you have brought in credits from AP courses or courses that you took in college now. Those type of things also can be in here if you feel like you should have them for the person to look at this, to know what you have done. Then the experience, and this is a tricky part for many students, is like, but I don't have any. And you may not know that you do, even if you have not worked for them. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. So in this example, it's just a made up position, office of the major in Los Angeles. This is so much. So the one that should be on top is always the most current one, the one that you're working on right now, or you just worked at, or your last summer job, whichever it is, because it's in order, chronological order. So the newest one on top. So in this case, you have like the start date and then that you're currently there. Some people say present, some people say current. It's up to you really what you say. And then we don't want to just have the name of the place that we worked at and our title, but also what did we do there? And this is also something that you want to be concise because you don't have a lot of space to do that, right? And you don't have to tell a story, but you do have to give them a little bit of an idea of what did you do there. So let's say in this case, a correspondence intern translated emails, wrote letters, invitations, phone calls, etc. Right? You can have, maybe you worked in a summer camp, for example, and you can put stuff like guided the children through activities or counseled or whichever related to the experience that you had, but in a short and concise way. Always active. Try not to be passive in this, because it takes longer also to when you write in the passive voice. And be specific and think. And sometimes this part tends to be hard for people to write, even myself, because it's like, oh, but I'm not thinking, months later, what was I doing on a regular basis? But you can think, okay, about what did I do more or less, and then you start writing words, and then you can make those words into sentences. As you can see here, there's one that is very cut and dry, and there is one that is a more of a sentence, like manage daily calendar and schedule events for the major. Now, in this case, this person is still working here. So you can see that they're writing in the present tense. That's also something that you can take into consideration. While this was a previous position, and you can see that it changed to the past tense. That's a little something, but something important to pay attention to. And this other part, leadership and work honors, and again, this changes from template to template, but for the purpose of this template, usually this is where you want to have leadership and honors. And what is that? For example, you are all, well, I don't know, there might be people from other programs, but either program that you're in a program. That counts. That's part of an extracurricular activity that counts, being a junior scholar or in a research program or in any other program in college counts, and something that you can put in there. Some people like to put their honors here, up here, but you can also put your honors down here if you have been on the Dean's list, or if you have received any awards or any scholarships that are merit-based, you can put in here, and anything that you have done inside or outside of college that it's called, it can fulfill this. And leadership doesn't necessarily mean that you have been a leader. Yes, it means that, but you can also include things where you are part of a group, or you are part of an activity or something that where you contribute to that program. So for example, if you are in junior scholars, right, you are here in this workshop because you are fulfilling some requirements, but also because they're good for you. So that's being part of a program, or there's things that you're required to do. Well, there are things that you gain from the program. So that exchange, it's something that you're looking for. So when you're thinking, what have I done, but I don't have any leadership? No, think about back in high school. Were you part of a club? Did you do something for a professor, a teacher? Did you volunteer in the community? All those kind of things that can count. Because what this shows is resiliency, motivation, perseverance, hard work, and then skills and interests. That is something that you have within you. So for example, a lot of people think here, oh, but yes, you might not think about it because you were born with this and you've been doing computers and social media and all kinds of things from birth. But those are skills, and not everybody knows those things. So think about, what do you know how to use, right? Maybe you're really good with Adobe and you've never thought about it as a skill, or with word editing, or any programs, could be creative programs, it could be database programs, anything that you can think of that you use really well and you can teach others, you can add here. And languages, of course, if you have speak more than one, or even if you know some, how advanced or literate you are in that language, can you use it? So as you can see here, this person speaks Spanish is their native language, French is advanced, Mandarin intermediate, Arabic beginner, but still it's showing that this person speaks languages. So, I'm looking for somebody bilingual maybe, or who can help in the community. It's important to put in there. And other things that you may not think about that you are able to do on a day-to-day basis. And it could be other things that you know how to do, like building or any skills that you think of. And if you don't know what your skills are, because a lot of students are like, I don't know what my skills are, ask somebody in your family, what am I good at? What do you come to me for? Maybe you're the travel agent or the producer or the manager, and you don't know that because you do it on a regular basis. And this is a one-page example, right? For a person that has some experience, have their college, have their leadership and awards, skills and interests. But some students who are in science, like yourself, may have a lot more things here than this person has, right? There are conferences that you attend, for example, or you may have presented somewhere, or you have gone to meetings as part of PRISM, or you have to the symposium and things like that, that could also go in here in your leadership and honors. But that's something like, if you need help, like we can talk about it. But thinking about other things that may not be in here that you have done, that you do on a regular basis, you can also include it. And this can grow, as I mentioned. So, for example, as I was saying, so the skills, right? All the Instagram posting I have put here, right? You don't know, but your social media skills, the posting in Instagram or Snapchat, or knowing how to do Discord, or what other things, TikTok even, stuff you build in Minecraft, coding that you have learned without really noticing, building websites, things like that. Those are skills. And for example, we might sometimes need somebody to help us with the social media, right? Do you know how to keep up a social media account? Those are skills that are sought for, believe it or not. So you can work for companies doing that. You can work for programs doing that, because we may not always have the manpower to do that. And as I was mentioning, like maybe you'll go to a conference with us, or through us, or through your program. And those are also skills that you can include. So here's where we get to the point where a lot of people sometimes say, but I don't have any skills. I haven't done anything. All I've done is go to school and be a student. And you may not notice that, but a lot of people think that some of the things that you do on a regular basis is a common thing to do, and it's not. And you're building skills without realizing. So there are two types of stuff that you can put in resumes, and you can make one. And I did not send you that template, but I will show it to you. Give me a moment. Which is it's another way to show what you are able to do when you don't have experience, like the resume that I showed you. Share that. So this is a very similar template, right? The difference here is this is a high school student who just graduated from high school or is about to graduate, has not done a lot of experience. They haven't had any jobs, but they have done things either in town or in their family, or maybe even at school, where you have done some things that count as skills and experience. So for example, in this case, this person shows okay, I'm in high school. These are some of the advanced courses that I'm taking. This could be considered, for scholarship or anything like that. Volunteer experience. This person is a cadet in training at a rescue squad. That's great. Like you're learning CPR and all kinds of things. Then here, paid babysitting experience. This person has care for their siblings, and that's something that you guys may do on a regular basis and not realize. And then sometimes they get paid for it. Then other things are in honors and leadership, right? They don't have a lot because they're in high school, but they do have some awards and some honors from their schools. And then here, there are a lot of things that they know that you guys also know that I forgot to mention, like you use Google so much Google Chrome and all the Google Classroom and all the platforms that you used when you were in the midst of the pandemic taking virtual classes. There's so many platforms there that you probably know are very, very well, that you know very well, that might also count as skills. So think about those things that you used during the pandemic or even before or after, that might be things that you don't think about, like MATLAB or other programs that you may have been using for your courses, that those are also skills. And then things that you have done, maybe like camps or leadership programs that you have done in your community, or community day, or things that you have helped organize in your neighborhoods, so things like that. Those are things that you can put in what I call a no experience resume, that shows more of what kind of things you know how to do. So, for example, like some people have block parties. Maybe you organize the block party. You help somebody in the family figure out something. Maybe you're your parents' translator. I've seen advertisement at John Jay about this. Like, did you translate for your parents? Do you want to get a certificate for that? Right? Those are things that count, that you can use to your advantage for a resume when you believe you don't have a lot of experience. Managing, you might be managing your household. You might be already independent. You might be managing a budget, and you don't realize that you've helped your parents with their taxes, or so on and on and on. So there are many things, even maybe helping your siblings with the FAFSA because they need help. Those are things that you can think about. How do I utilize these skills and place them in a piece of papers that shows a potential recruiter or internship boss, etc., that I can do some things even though I don't have a lot of experience. And again, this is more ideas like tutoring. I know that some of you, for example, tutor, and you may be doing that formally, you may be doing it informally, and that counts as well. You might be, you may have helped your siblings during the pandemic, or even other students how with courses without doing it in a formal basis. That counts, etc. Things like that you can use, like you can convert that and into words that show these kind of things, like self-motivation, competence, potential, the knowledge of technology, your mathematical mind, managing, etc. This is another example of what I showed you before, of what no experience resume, that it's more concentrating on the skills. And this I borrowed from, I have a set that I can send you later that has several examples of both of types of resume that have been used for these type of workshops through the Leadership Alliance or NIH and other places that have like a bunch of different examples that you can use and you can download for free. And then, as I mentioned, keeping it updated, right? So for example, right now you're here, you're doing your fall semester, you have done some things, maybe you have gotten in the lab, or you recently became part of a project, or you went to a summer program, or you founded a club, or you became part of a club, you became the treasurer of a club, and things like that. So when you're doing something new, and I know this is harder said than done, done than said, but people usually forget this and they don't put them on the resume. And when the time comes to build that resume to present it to somebody, either a program, a school, or an internship, etc., you don't remember. So I always say, try to keep it updated. When you do something and finish it, even if it's 1 week long, try to go back to this living document and add it to it, because you may forget, and then you may not remember that you did a week long workshop in California, in November 2021, and you don't remember that, you didn't put it in, you forgot about it. And then once you're building it, trying to go back from those things from memory, it's difficult. But you can also write it down somewhere and then eventually put it in the resume. But I usually suggest you go to a conference, even if you are a participant, but it's an important conference for your set of skills, go back to that document, put it in the place it belongs. You switch majors and you haven't updated that, or you got into grad school, now you're doing a master, you update that so that it's always up to date. So in the moment that you get asked for it, you can, come up with a copy. A lot of people ask for resumes, as I mentioned, and you don't know that until they ask. And even for conferences or memberships to become like from your different majors, if you are becoming a member of an association, for example, or you want to attend a conference for your registration. I have seen people ask for resumes very, very often in many different situations. So that's why it's important to have one. All right, so I'm going to pause here and ask if you have any questions. Don't all talk at once, please. It's okay, you don't have to have questions. Okay, so what we are going to do now is a more of a hands-on activity. Well, you have your printout. Let me open up my... So the very first page of your example has the example on top. And the idea here, of course, like if you are working on this and you want to start building something and you want to preserve this template, you can always do it in the computer and just add your name, right? Like write your name here, your last name, like you can edit this and just change it to your advantage, right? And then you can do that, or you can start from scratch, right? So what I did is I made something that you can fill out by hand, even if when you walk out of here, it's just something like a really raw draft of what you have, but you can get it started. So if you have your computer, I can send you the template and you can do it in the computer. But you can also do it by hand and then do it in the computer. It's really up to you. So the idea here is with your pen, and for the ones that are online, you can do it directly in the computer, but is to write down what the same thing that is on top, right? What's your name, your last name, your phone number, how you will do it. You don't really have to say what city you're in. You don't have to give your address. A lot of people give a lot of personal information on their resumes, but what they really need to have is a method to contact you. How do I get in touch with this person right now? Because I need to call them for an interview, or I need to tell them that they have been accepted, or whichever that they want to contact you. So whatever you put in here for your phone number, your email, and your LinkedIn has to be the most current and whatever they can reach you at. Now, because it's a professional thing, right? Let's think about internships, labs, etc. You don't want to have an email that says hatbabe89 or something like that in here, right? You may have a funny email, an email that you got 5 years ago, or when you got in middle school that might have a funny name. Don't use that. Use something that sounds normal, like it could be your name and last name, or you can use your John Jay email, but you have to use the one that you can always access, because once you are out of college, right, you may not be able to access your John Jay anymore. So use the one that you can access. Just make sure that it doesn't sound like something weird, like or a bunch of numbers. That's also hard because they might mistype it. So use something that you will use, that you will give to anybody in a professional manner. And then your education, I already filled here John Jay, but think about when you're expected to graduate, and that can change. This is a living document, so it changes, right? And then here, just type, write BA, BS, what's your major, what's your current GPA, if you know it. If you want to show it, again, those are optional. You don't have to show your GPA if you don't want to, unless it's to your advantage. You have a minor, if you are in honors, etc. And then in the second part, like the experience, I just added 3, but you can have more than that or less than that. Don't think that you have to fill it all out if you don't have it. And if you haven't had jobs, again, think about how you can fill that somewhere else. So instead of like doing employers, you can do experience and take off the employer's name. So let's say that you run, I don't know, I don't think, because I know many of you do have jobs, and that's, you can put that in there, but if you have not had jobs, think about experiences that you may have had in, you know, clubs and things that you did in high school, or stuff that you think that you can use from your life to life experience. And then leadership as an honors, like the first one you could put there is PRISM Junior Scholars Program, right? And here, as a in the part of your example, you have some where you explain what it is or what it meant for you, and you have some that are very, just the title, the years, that's it, that are very self-explanatory. And you can do the same here. If you have something that you know that you want to add in there, again, like, think of leadership doesn't have to be that you were a leader, but you were part of something that could count, that you can add out there, and just the name, the years, and then you can write 1 or 2 sentences, or you can write just very specific. For example, science club, 2020 to 2022, and that the name of the school or the program, etc. And then this one, I added some stuff in here, like certifications and volunteer activities, thinking about that possibility that you may have the work experience, but you may have more things here. And of course, if they don't fit, you can add notes, side notes, and things like that, so that you have something that you can start building on. Minimize this so you can see. Okay. Do you have any questions so far?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So for transfer students who got their GPA reset and is at 0 currently, are we allowed to put the GPA that we used to have at the previous school?
Yes, of course. Because that's technically your current GPA. Now, when you are at the end of the semester, you're going to see a new GPA, right? That is specific to John Jay. But that GPA was from the community college or whatever you transfer from, that counts as well. And in that case, do put your other college, right? Like if you're transfer students and you did 60 credits or an associate, or even if you didn't get the associate, but you did 45 credits in the other college, that's important to know as well.
I would also like to know why a conference is important in the resume.
Depending on what you are applying for. So, for example, I believe you want to be a scientist, right? We met recently. So let's think about you're applying maybe to a lab, and you went to a conference that is related either to your major or something that science related. Mentors like to take students to conferences. It's because it's a way for you to see what's out there, what other people are doing, and also to show you what you may do one day, which will be maybe presenting there, right? So it shows interest beyond what you're doing in college. You're not required to go to a conference, but if it is a conference related to your field and related to campus, it's something worth putting in there because it shows potential employers or internships or mentors that you have been to one of these already, because they may take you to one, or even if you're not in a lab, a professor might suggest, oh, you should go and check this out because it's a small conference in, I don't know, Pennsylvania that they're going to do for one day. You should go and check it out because I think it's going to bring you some ideas for your major. And you go and do that. It shows that you already have done. Those conferences are huge sometimes. So it shows interest, dedication, memberships too. Like if you're a member of something, like microbiology association or psychology association or even, you know, toxicology, whichever. Or if you're a member of a group in college or a club or even as a participant, those are things that show also time management skills and shows interest and dedication, because that's what ultimately it's going to help you. Like whatever job you get after, there's always going to be stuff that you're doing for it. It's called professional development. You're always going to be doing that, even if after graduation, by either going to conference or taking a class or going to a talk, speakers and things like
Thank you.
that. Yes.
Are you going to share the template? Or
Oh,
do you,
yes. So I guess I'm going to send it, but via Blackboard, because I don't know, you know, it's a faster way so that you can all get it. So you want to work online? Okay, one second. Go to Blackboard.
I also have another question.
Yes, go ahead.
Do you recommend like any other template that is already provided in Microsoft Word?
Yes, I like this one because I like minimal designs, right? But in reality, and also because sometimes the ones in Microsoft, they are, the templates per se are hard sometimes to replace the things, or if you delete something, things move up. So this one is no longer a template, it's made into a document. But I can share other templates that you can download that are in the same way, because the problem I have with the Word documents, the Word templates, is that if you don't fill it up correctly, it messes up the design, and then you have to go back and forth, and it's sometimes can be frustrating. But any template, like I've shared this template with students, and they want something more elaborate, and that's totally fine. But I will share in Blackboard both this template and other templates that I have used in the past, and you can look through them and pick the one that works best for you.
Awesome, thank you.
I have a question in the chat.
Alejandra, excuse me, Jen, as someone who has had to look through resumes, this format, as you said, is very clean and it's very quick. So if I have a job out there and I'm looking for specific skills and experiences, this template and this type of template is going to make it easier for than one that's got a lot of writing and I have to sit there and look through it. I'm going to be turned off by that because I'm looking at a stack of resumes. So you also want to think about it from the perspective of the person who's reading it, and that's one of the reasons Alejandra has picked this type of format.
Thank you, Pat. And when I share the list that I'm going to send you, you'll see that the resumes are very similar to this, because think about this. Let's say you are applying to an internship for your majors, or even you don't have to be in forensic science, you could be in toxicology, computer science, whichever major that you are, and you want to do an internship, and there's 300 of you. The person looking at that is going to take a piece of paper and it's going to go like, oh my God, this is too hard to read. I'm just not going to look at it. So you want them to see something really fast and not get distracted by things. So for example, some people put pictures, colors, and there's so many beautiful things in there, but if it's too busy, I might have to like skim 300 of those, and I want to get caught by the one that gives me the information fast, like Pat mentioned. Also, which we did not cover here, and we can maybe eventually do, you can always, meet with us, and is that usually this go accompanied by either a statement of purpose or a cover letter, right? And those two things go hand in hand and they feed off each other. So both of those have to be very concise and very easy to read, so that the person that is reading 300 looks at your page, briefly and knows, oh, this one works. And you also want to tailor it. Something that so this one could be a draft, right? But when you want to tailor your resume to what they're looking for. So if you're looking for an internship You may not want to include everything that is in there. You want to get their attention that you have what they need for that internship. So let's say they want an intern in toxicology and they want you to have taken certain courses. You put those in there. You say, okay, I'm in toxicology. This is my GPA. This is what I've taken. And that's the first thing they look at, and they know that you already qualify. And then they have time to read through your resume to see what other skills you can bring to the picture. So let me go ahead and share that with you fast so you can get it.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna put it. Yeah, me too. The secretary. Yeah.
All right, so the email that you're going to get is from Rosemary. Rosie, sorry about that, but I still don't have access to my own, but I will soon. So it's coming, well, it's coming from Blackboard, but it will show that it's Rosemary.
Alejandro, would you say that again? What is Rosie doing?
Rosie is sending you a template by email. No, I'm logged in with your credentials in Blackboard, so it's going to show.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to use my credentials.
I didn't see that. Who is that?
So for those of you who are in computer science, for example, and you have taken courses or have experience before you even were in the major where you can do coding or you can do any type of programming, you can add those as in your skills, and you want to showcase those. For forensic science, toxicology, math, anything else, think about things that where you maybe made either somebody made an impression on you or you made an impression on somebody, with something that you did in that class. And that could be a skill that you, for example, gravitated towards, it could be organic chemistry, it could be anywhere. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
Or I'm in that house and that's problems. And or if you learn something in the lab that you can do, like you can only do, or that was hard to learn, that those are things that you want to also showcase.
Excuse me?
Yes.
So for an internship, if I wanted to include relevant coursework like to that internship, would I put that under education, or what should I make a separate section for that?
You can, so when you have education, and let's say, let me, let me show you, I think of it. So here, up here, you can add that, see where it says minor computer science, etc.
Yeah.
That you can have relevant courses. You can make another line and just, you know, relevant courses, and then add those. And when you do that, it's because there's definitely something in those courses that will show your potential employer, right? Internship, that you can do these skills. And that's why you want to showcase them, because as we mentioned before, this person may be looking at 300, and if the first thing they see is right here, your name, your address, etc., but also what you're coming in with. Some people like to use objective. In the resume, you may see some templates on Word that have that, and you can also have that. And like, but I tend to stay away from those, because those are like an older kind of version. But I did, as Pat mentioned, that she looks at a lot of resumes. I also have looked at a lot of resumes that usually go with applications to internships, summer programs, or graduate school, and they want to see something very, very short. And I want to share that with you guys. I'm trying to figure out a way to not send you everybody in PRISM, an email, but maybe after we're done, since I'll get the list of who was there, I can email you all. It's an example, and it's a pretty cool example from the NIH, which is the National Institute of Health, that they do for trainings and education. And it used to be in a different format. That's why I was going to share with the other things that I sent you, but they have a lot of examples on that. And they also have really cool things, like sometimes you are out of words and you don't know how to do that. And it's like, oh, what did I do? How do you call that? And they have all these cool words on how to talk about certain things from your, things that you know how to do. And that's pretty cool. That's new. But if you look at their examples again, right? We have very simple looking things. Maybe this one may have a border, but that's it. This one doesn't have anything, not even lines. So look at these examples and you'll see that it's always very simple, because you want to show. These ones are more specific to like grad school applications, but you asked me for the about why are conferences important. Well, you also can see, like, sometimes you present at conferences, and that's why you want to keep them there. This one is very teaching specific, but if you look at this, which I will send you in a link, you can see how very simple they are. One page, direct, concise, and that's what you want to see also. So stay away from those fancy ones. They're cute, but they're not. Depends. Like if you're applying, let's say, for a summer job in between semesters and you need a job and you want to make it fun, you can use one of those. But for professional things, yeah, go ahead.
So I heard that for computer science roles, do you recommend that we read the role description, and then if we have, for example, the classes that they prefer, like data structures and all that, and we took it, we add them, or if we have some sort of skill that they want, we add them? Because I heard that they use some sort of AI to do some sort of weeding for the resumes, and then if you don't have certain keywords, you won't pass it.
Yes, and eventually I'm going to meet with the people from computer science because they also work on building a resume to be able to do this together, because that's very important, right? They have an AI that normally it's in other cases it's a person but that person is also looking for these keywords, right? So for any major, so you do want to tailor it. You do want to show those keywords. What I recommend people to do, especially when you're applying to something and even if you are applying to several, read the description, what they want, right? What specifically for what you're talking about, or even let's say, and I want to talk about examples from every major. So let's say you're in forensic science and you need to do an internship at the health examiner's office, and they're looking for has to be a junior, 3.0 GPA, maybe. I'm making this up. Have to have taken 60 credits in science and leadership skills and bilingual. Those 5 things are the first things you want to show, right? But then you want to show them in the right place, of course, but the more specific ones, the keywords. For your computer science, let's say they're asking for specific language that you know how to program in, or courses that you may have taken, or do you have, maybe they want to see a lot of math, that you've already taken a lot of math. Yes, you want to read that. And sometimes what I've worked with students a lot with resume writing for applications for these type of things. And what I usually suggest the students to copy and paste the description on top, right? You'll take care, you get rid of it later. But to see if you are hitting everything. And sometimes these positions will be you, and you'll be seeing yourself like, oh, I know how to do all that. But you might forget, like how, oh, I forgot to put something. So if you have it right on top, you know you're hitting everything. And the idea is not to copy and paste that, but if you're writing, you want to say, okay, I know Java, and this is how I learned it. You want to put that in there. You also, sometimes you will be asked to get a cover letter, which is like a more elaborate, when you talk about things more specifically, and that's where you have the chance to maybe say, I took Java when I was in the summer program, blah, blah, blah. But yes, you do want to make sure that you put those keywords in there. And also keywords that, from what I just showed you, those words that they have in there, you may use those. You know, if they're saying efficient, knowledgeable, blah, 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 you can use those exact words in your, and you can add that objectives, or you can add something, or you can, some people even add keywords at the bottom of the resume as well. It's strange, I've seen it, but I don't, I've never worked with somebody, but I've seen templates that have keywords at the end, kind of like when you have an abstract for your paper. You have keywords that you can look for.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and for the keywords at the end, I was told that even if you try to add the keywords, you need to make it be able to make sense, because someone else is actually gonna read it after. And they told me that they have received resumes full of keywords not in order and without any particular sense.
Yes, so let's say you are writing your resume, right, for an internship. And in this area where I was talking about this, this is where you want to include those keywords, but in a concise manner and in a sentence, right, that makes sense, as you mentioned. So you don't want to just throw in there, and I don't have computer knowledge to put in there, but let's say, I don't know, I know a lot of students do MATLAB, and they learn to code, and I know it's simple. Some people think it's so simple, but some students I've worked with do R, and you can write here, let's say you participate in a summer program where you learn to do that, and then you can say, you know, use R to blah, blah, blah. Use this program or have knowledge in this program, or so on and on. And you can make it into a sentence, because if AI is reading that, this is where you have the opportunity to write that down more. And up here is where you can add those courses that may show this potential employer that you already know that, right? I think when we met, we were talking about captography. You were telling me about captography. And I didn't even know what captography was. I had to look it up, right? But then I know already, like from what our meeting, what you have done and what you know. And that's why you want to put in your resume, right? That anything that you has to do with data, and that's where you put it in. And if you don't have experience per se, but you have taken, you can use that session and expand on how you use those languages and how did you learn to use them, but short and concise. Don't forget, because those are like the important parts. You want to tell a story, you can do that in your interview, or you can do that in your cover letter.
Thank you.
So how are my people online? I think I've lost a lot of you already. I've left. Well, just to spark things up, can you tell me what your major is starting from? I can see, I don't know what your name is on the one in black that you asked me about the template. What's your name?
C,
And what's your major?
cell and molecular biology.
Ooh, no. Have we met?
No, not yet.
Have you made an appointment?
Yes, I have.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, who's next?
My name is Shoaib Ahmed. My major is computer science and information security.
Nice. Have we met? I think we have. Maybe. I don't know.
I
Yeah.
think.
Okay.
My name is Baraka Abdullah. My major is forensic science.
Oh yeah.
On advisement.
Yes, I remember you. And Dinora, right?
Mm-hmm.
I only know your name because I don't know. It's easy to remember. And you are in computer science as well.
Yeah.
And we just met also.
Yeah.
What's your name again?
Well, it's Brian.
Oh, okay, cool. And I'm going to find out about that internship program that I told you about. Once I know, I will let you know. And the computer science people, don't forget to come to that CUNY 2X meeting. I think it's not next week, the following, because they have some interesting things going on. And so right behind the one in green.
Oh, my name's Lindsay. We've met.
Yes. Okay. And what's your major again, Lindsay?
Computer science.
Computer science. Wow, we have a lot of computer science. And
my name is Ruby. We met through advisement as well.
and your major is also computer science?
Forensic science.
And I don't know if there's anybody behind Brian. I can see. Maybe no. Who is next? Right behind. Let's see.
My name is Mary Firth. My major is forensic science.
Okay. Marifer, do you want me recently, or you are my student? Yeah. Okay. And next.
My name is Maria. I'm forensic science.
Okay. Good. And I cannot see you, but I know you have Pepsi there.
My name is Jaylyn, and my major is cell and molecular biology.
Thank you. And the next one.
My major is forensic science, and we haven't met yet.
And what's your name again?
Jay.
Nice to meet you.
My major is also forensic science.
Oh, great. And then I think I have Rosie and Pat, and I don't know if there's anybody next to Pat.
Wait, there's a gentleman to my right.
Okay.
Name is Javon, and I'm computer science major.
Okay. Wow. Lots of computer science. And what about people online? You can type it in the chat. If you don't want to show it. Computer science, forensics, okay. Okay, so we can continue talking about this, you know, like if you have questions and you are, there are resources on campus that can help you also write resumes. So if you have a draft and you want to share it, I'm happy to look over it. I'm happy to do that. And there's also the Career Center that can help you with that. And some organizations themselves also do it. For computer science specific, and I'm not sure how they go about that, but you may want to visit that department and see if they have workshops specifically. If not, again, like I'm happy to look at it. I'm going to meet with them soon to learn more about the specifics of computer science resumes, right? Because for the other sciences perspective, and then you can use any, again, but that idea of the, go ahead, Alexis, thank you. Of how to tailor the resume to specific, but that information in that first sheet is very similar. So I know that we don't have a lot of time left and it's kind of awkward to do this like remotely hybrid. So if it's okay with Pat and Rosie, I'm happy to let you go. I know we have a class after this, and so that they can clean up and do their stuff. But you have my email, or you know how to contact me. So if you want to share a draft, if you are applying to internships or anything like that, guide to resume PDF. Yes, sure. You can contact me, and I'm happy to look at your what your resume, your draft, or answer your questions. I'm happy to do that. Okay, let me see somebody else in the chat. Hopefully this will work. If not, I can give you the
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.